Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We have a great show for you today. And as always, if you want to call in and ask questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857. And it's about 7 o'clock now. We'll be here till about, 7:15, 7:20, Beeb?
7:20, yeah.
About 7:20 right in there. A lot of boxing news this week. Not even a little bit here. All right, but anyway, we got some topics today. So today we're going to talk about Canelo versus Triple G set for September. Possibly. We'll tell you about it. And what are we going to do without boxing for these next couple of months? Because everything's being wiped off the slate, man. We got some ideas. Me and the Beeb have put our heads together, and we got some ideas. But first, we get started with some sad news. Roger Mayweather passed away this week at the age of 58. No cause of death has been released, but we know that he had diabetes, and it sounds like he had been going through a lot of health complications in recent years. I mean, we've all heard, that he's been going through quite a bit in recent years. Roger is actually best known for being the trainer of Floyd Mayweather Jr., and Roger basically led him through most of his pro career and some of his amateur career as well. Roger Mayweather, while he's known for a trainer, I guess by this generation, man, he was also a great boxer in his own right. He was a two-division champion, the WBA super featherweight and WBC light welterweight champion. And I think Mayweather was actually one of the few guys that had a successful boxing career and then turned that into a successful trainer as well. The thing is, man, like a lot of times, guys, you think of say somebody like Sugar Ray Leonard or Michael Jordan, the guys that did it better than anybody else. When you put them out there and they try to teach others, it's hard for them because they can't do the same things that they did. You know what I mean? So it's really difficult. Roger was able to parlay that, again, two-time champion and able to be a successful trainer too. That's pretty rare. When you talk about like guys like Freddie Roach, who you can argue is a really good trainer and he was a boxer, I think he was kind of a journeyman boxer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, he was never like that upper echelon guy where Roger Mayweather really was.
Yeah.
Back in the day, man, Mayweather fought a who's who, including Kostya Tszyu, Julio Cesar Chavez, and Pernell Whitaker, among others. And if you ever heard the term, you don't know blank about boxing, you can thank Roger Mayweather for that one. B, what were your thoughts when you heard this? I know I was sad, man, because Roger has been a big part of boxing. Now he's been, of course, out of the scene, for I would say a couple years now. Probably more than that. He's been, and we've all heard rumors that he was sick. We heard rumors that that the one time they said he wandered off and all that other good stuff. And I mean, so it's sad, it's a sad thing, especially for him, man. He was a good fighter, good trainer, colorful guy, really colorful guy. And I heard, I knew a couple of guys that actually met him. They said he couldn't have been nicer. He's a super nice guy, man.
Yeah. Well, he had diabetes, and that was well documented. Even when he was training, they talked about how he was diabetic. But then he was having some issues with, I believe he had Alzheimer's. So I know he had some form of dementia, and that's why.
Really, that's insane at 58.
Yeah, and again, I can attest to this because my mother died of Alzheimer's at 73, but she got it when she was like in her early 60s. So, and people think that that's just an old person's disease, like when you're in your 70s or early 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's just, you could sit there and say that, with diabetes, it could be controlled by diet, exercise. Well, I'm gonna shut this thing off. Put this in airplane mode. So like diabetes, things like cholesterol, you can control that by diet and lifestyle and exercise and all that. Alzheimer's is just luck of the draw, bro. You either, you can just get it through no fault of your own. There's nothing you could do to stop it. It's a horrible, horrible, horrible disease. And
it's like
watching someone die slowly every day. And I'm sure, Floyd and Floyd Sr. and Jeff, the whole family had to witness that. That's why Roger had to be replaced as a trainer by Floyd Sr. in the latter years of Floyd's career. So I know how painful that is to have to endure as a family member, watching someone who has Alzheimer's. It's just painful to watch that, because it's like we call it it's the slow death is what it is.
Yeah.
Because every day, like I said, you're dying slowly. And what was kind of sad, because Roger Mayweather had a great career. And as you said, he transitioned into being a really good trainer. And the only other guy that I can remember who was a really good fighter that turned out to be a good trainer was like Buddy McGirt. I can't really off the top of my head think of any top level guy. Like Buddy McGirt was also a 2-time world champion, 2-weight world champion, whatever. He was a very successful guy. Had like 70 something fights. Had a great career. So, it was just the way the whole thing ended with Roger Mayweather. It was just sad because he made a lot of money boxing, and he made a good amount of money being Floyd's trainer. So he should have been able to enjoy the rest of his life because he earned it. And he wasn't able to because of the health issues and because of the Alzheimer's and stuff like that. So that's the most painful thing about the whole story from my vantage point. And like I said, I'm not trying to make this about me, but I know how firsthand. I know how firsthand it is to witness somebody close to you that has Alzheimer's. So my heart goes out to Floyd. My heart goes out to Floyd Sr., Jeff, and the rest of the Mayweather family. It's really sad. And also Floyd having to deal with the death of the longtime girlfriend and mother of his children is horrible as well. So this is a horrible.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah, it's
couple
horrible,
months,
man.
Horrible couple months for Floyd Mayweather. So my heart goes out to him and his family and the
for
whole
sure.
Mayweather,
I can't imagine.
Mayweather, the kids.
Can't imagine what they're going through right now. Can't imagine it, man.
And it's just sad, man. It's just horrible. So.
Yeah. And let's see. Earthquake in the chat said, "R.I.P. Rest in peace, Black Mamba," and that was Roger Mayweather's nickname. And I put on Facebook, he was the only Black Mamba. He was the Black Mamba.
Yes, sir.
Not Kobe Bryant. Roger Mayweather was the real Black Mamba. I had this argument on Facebook with my cousin. He was like, he said that because I said R.I.P. Black Mamba or something like that, and he says, he says, no, Kobe was the Black Mamba. I said, no, Roger was the original Black Mamba. He says, no, Kobe's. I said, listen, Kobe couldn't lace Roger's shoes, my man. Could not lace Roger's shoes. Roger was the Black Mamba.
Yeah.
No question about it. No question. Insane, man. So, man, but man, he was always one of those guys who was always, every time every time you saw him on an interview,
they even had shirts. They had shirts about that too. Like,
you'd laugh, man, because he was so funny. He was charismatic. I liked him on those 24/7s, all those shows and everything like that. He was always a character, man. He was one of those guys that if you saw him, you feel like you could approach him. He was like a very approachable kind of guy. Now, whether he was or wasn't, I heard he was, but he just came off that way. Almost like he's one of those guys that you would meet and you would think you know him automatically. Just because you've seen him and he was just one of those guys that his personality and everything like that would just kind of put you at ease, So he man, that's a tough one, man. It really is. Yeah. It really is. And then we said, we talked a little bit about Floyd Mayweather in this whole thing. Floyd is actually unlikely now to fight this year. The plan was for Floyd basically to fight twice this year. He had a thing with the UFC going on. I don't know if he was actually going to box a.
Yeah, I don't think he was.
I think he was going to be like box UFC guys, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they were going to be setup fights, I think.
Yeah. You know, and the thing is, man, it's you know, he said, I mean, he was devastated, obviously, by the loss of Josie Harris's former girlfriend. Now Roger Mayweather, his uncle, and you know, with this whole coronavirus thing knocking everything out for months at a time now, it's unlikely that he'll return. He said the last thing on his mind right now is fighting, and I don't think
he made
will return.
He made a statement then. He made a statement.
He said he didn't think he was coming back. You know, listen, man, it's, you know, I get where he's at. I get it. I mean, I get that he's upset and everything. You just hang it up, son. I mean, this ain't worth. I mean, what are you coming back for anyway? It's not worth it. It whatever you're thinking about doing, man, it's not worth it. You know, he just, I mean, and I can't even imagine. I mean, like I said, he lost, he had 3 kids with that lady, didn't he? Josie Harris?
Yeah, he had a relationship with her for like almost
a long
20, like 15, 20 years, bro.
Yeah. So you got that going on, and, you know, you had her pass away, and like literally like a week later, his uncle dies, you know? And I mean, I can't even imagine, like I said, what that family's going through, what he's going through, what his kids are going through, what Roger's kids are going through, and his people, you know, that whole family, man, you know, because you got Jeff Mayweather there and you got Floyd Sr. there. I mean, it's tough, man. That's just got to be tough, man. So boxing is probably the last thing on his mind, and it probably should be the last thing on his mind. He's got a lot of heavy stuff going on right now, man. So, yeah, I mean, listen, if he ever wants to fight again, he can fight again. I mean, but I don't know, for what? You know, for what, man? How much money does he need? You know what I mean?
Well, plus he's got you know, a lot of businesses now. He's got that chain of gyms he's got going on now. His promotional company is really starting to do well. You know.
Yeah. What chain of gyms does he have?
I forget the name, but he's got these like boxing gyms, whatever, like exercise clubs.
Yeah, that's right. He announced them. Did they ever make it out? I mean, did they ever make it out to the public?
I think he's got a couple of them. I think he's got a couple of them out there. You know? Yeah. And he's got that strip club that's going strong.
I know I support that strip club. I know every time I go to Vegas, I'm supporting that strip club, son.
Yeah. I heard
hey, somebody's got to put those girls through college, Beeb.
100%.
That's me, son.
I'm about capitalism, right? Everyone deserves to make earn a dollar and make a living, right?
That's right. Hey, these girls got to make a living too. Who am I? To not, you know, to deny them of that. That's crazy, Beeb.
You know, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. The only fight that I would really want him to come back for is like Pacquiao. I think that would be a good. I'd like to see them like have a rematch, like, because they're both at the same point in their careers. They're both older men. And oh Jesus, Jesus! Wow.
Oh man!
Wow, you are put on. You are. Oh my God! I have no comment for that.
Well, you know, I tell you what, sweetie. Just so you know, Beeb put me up to this because we talked about it beforehand.
Oh, we were talking about having. We only like go in there for business purposes, like to have a nice drink,
right?
And
I mean,
talk over things. Not really,
you know. Let me tell you what.
See if Floyd's there, give him a handshake, you know.
Right.
Nothing to do with the women.
I'm a little put off. I got to be honest, Beeb. I'm a little put off that she even thought that way.
Yeah. Why would you even think that, Lisa? I mean, that's not the way.
I think that's the crazy thing about it. I mean, that she even thought that way about it.
Yeah, we do not roll that way. I can say that with 100% certainty.
Right. That's the thing.
That's hilarious.
Lisa just says, just remember, you can't leave the house for the next 2 weeks. Yeah. Yeah, we're under lockdown.
You may not be able to live that. You may not be able to leave that studio for the next 2 weeks. She may ramp up the quarantine protocol. She may ramp up the quarantine protocol.
Pretty much gonna stay here for the next 2 weeks. I'm gonna bring my
TV dinners for the rest of the month.
Pretty much, man. Jeez.
Right.
Mrs. Lorda dropping the excuse me like Vicky Guerrero. You remember what she used to say? Excuse me.
That's funny. Oh wow.
So yeah, Beeb, I'll be sleeping here tonight, right in the new
you
studio.
You never know who's listening.
You never know. You never know. I got to make sure that all the phones are like quarantined before while you do the show now. So there you go.
That's hilarious.
Insane, man. So let's talk about this Canelo fight. All right, so let's talk about this Canelo fight. Anything to get off the topic of strip clubs and me sleeping in the studio for now. Let's talk about this Canelo fight. So from what we read, Beeb, it sounds like they're targeting this fight for Mexican Independence Day, but there are still some hurdles to jump through, mainly, this whole Corona thing going on.
Yeah.
But after that, because we know that's going to die down, everything's going to return, I guess back to as normal as it can be now. In a few months, maybe they have it, maybe they don't. But if they, let's just say they do, they both have. It says that they both have interim fights before they fight each other. Canelo is set to face BJ Saunders. Triple G will face someone else. And if they both win, they may meet in September. But this is far from a done deal, especially given the current environment. So I don't understand, what, Dan Raphael put this article out there, and he quoted sources. I guess he's doing the Coppinger thing or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you make of all this? I mean, does that fight? They can't have an interim. When are they going to have an interim fight?
Well, Chris Mannix, who obviously works for DAZN, was the first guy to put out that the fight with the third fight looks like it's going to be a go. So I guess Chris Mannix would have inside information on that because he works for DAZN. There's no question about that. But this whole Billy Joe Saunders situation, it was never agreed to. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, if we didn't have this coronavirus thing going on, I don't think Canelo would. I'm trying to say, would it make sense for Canelo to fight in May and then fight in September? So, even if we didn't have this coronavirus thing going on, I could see Canelo just circumventing the May date and going right to the September date, which I think he's going to have to do anyways. So I don't know, the whole May date, regardless, with or without this coronavirus situation, it just seems like him and Saunders couldn't agree to for whatever reason couldn't agree to the fight. There was some stuff going on behind the scenes that just didn't make it possible for that fight to be announced and made official. Okay, there had to been some sticking points going on there, and it was taking a long time to put that fight together. So I'm saying to myself, and I'm just basically looking at it from a logical standpoint, that it was late February, okay, and they were talking about fighting in May, and we were in March already, right? We were reaching the point where there would have been no time to train for that Billy Joe Saunders fight. No. They were cutting it too close, in other words, is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. So I think they would have just went to the Golovkin fight, and in my opinion, it makes more sense to just fight in September anyways, and not worry about the May fight, because I think the Golovkin fight's an easier fight. I think it would be for more money. I think it would just be an easier fight for more money. So it's less risk for more reward than the Billy Joe Saunders fight. And if you read that article too, Dan Raphael saying that the zone made some provisions to the deal in order to make this fight happen. So I'm saying to myself, did they offer him incentives? Did they add something or for this particular fight monetarily to encourage and entice him to fight Golovkin, because he was hell bent on not wanting to do it? I mean, again, this is all speculation, but Dan did mention something of the deal being restructured or something in that article. And again, I don't know how he would know that, but Chris Mannix was the first to break this. Yeah. So because of his connection with DAZN, I would kind of say that maybe he does have the inside track, and I would be less inclined to question him than I would Dan Raphael, because even Dan Raphael, who's kind of got the inside track on a lot of things, been in the business a long time. Things, yeah. But he's been wrong. He's been wrong a lot too. He's made some crazy statements too. And once again, people think they have that get out of jail free card just because they put sources and allegedly before everything they say. But if you do that enough times, people are only going to let you cry wolf so many times before you start losing credibility. You know,
that's very true.
And Michael Compicher knows that, firsthand. So what I think is going to end up happening, because I don't think we have a choice now, because of the coronavirus, is going to be postponing a lot of these fights, and it's going to be putting on boxing on hold for a substantial period of time now. I think they're just going to go right to the September date, and he's going to end up fighting Golovkin. That's how I see this whole thing playing out. Golovkin is definitely going to take the fight because he knows he's at the end, and this is his last chance to make, to have a,
it'll be kind of a cash out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a cash out. Even though he has that big deal, they still have to get the right opponents for him to get those paydays. So again, people look at the number. They say 365, whatever. Like Canelo has to fight the 11 fights to get that 365, but how it's dispersed fight by fight, we don't know.
Well, this is a big one. I mean, this is definitely going to be a big one.
This one, well, like I said, this one will be this one, according to Raphael, they made special, provisions for it. They sweetened the deal according to him. So maybe they would add some incentive money for just to get this fight done in order to get this fight done. So that's what I'm saying. This would be better for both men based on their current situations, is what I'm saying. I think this is the best case scenario, and it would be if I'm managing either guy, I'm telling him, let's just go to this, let's just take this fight and get it done, So
if I'm his manager, that's what I do, because listen, man, all this almost went by the wayside when he fought Derevyanchenko. And who are you going to get? I mean, as an interim for this guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if you're gonna go out, you might as well go out losing to someone like Canelo instead of losing to someone like Derevyanchenko or someone else. With all due respect to Derevyanchenko, you know what I mean? But I picked Derevyanchenko to win that fight before the fight because I thought style wise he was gonna present problems, and I actually had him winning the fight. I thought he won the fight. I thought it was a bad decision. Like I've never seen. A lot
of people did.
Like Golovkin actually got beat up in that fight, and he got handled in that fight. He got handled in that fight, in my opinion.
Do you think? Okay, so let's talk about the fight. Okay, sure. If it happens in September, let's talk about this.
Sure.
And I don't, you know how I am with rematches. I don't like them anyway. I sure don't like triple headers, or rubber matches or whatever you want to call them. I saw Triple G winning this first match. I think I had the second one a draw, and it was that close. I think Triple G had to really fight back to get a draw on my card.
Yeah,
and it was one of those things where I couldn't complain about it either way. You know what I mean? The fact that Canelo won the second fight, I couldn't really. I had
Golovkin winning both fights, but I actually don't have a problem with him getting the decision in the second fight. I thought it was close enough to make an argument.
The first fight he won, and it was hands down. I thought it was a 9-3 beating. I thought he beat Canelo up.
I think I had an 8-4, but I thought Golovkin won.
And then the second fight now was we saw, and we've talked about this for a long time, that he is on the downhill. He's on the dark side of his career.
Yeah, he's definitely turning the corner without question. He's turning the
corner. Given that's the case, let me ask you this. Given that's the case, we saw the Derevyanchenko fight. Golovkin, the old Golovkin would have handled Derevyanchenko, I believe. This Golovkin did not do that. In fact, we thought he lost the fight.
Yeah.
Do you see a third fight being competitive?
I don't. No,
I don't either.
I don't.
I see this as a whitewash here, man. I don't know that Canelo knocks him out.
I think
there's enough hatred. I think there's enough hatred there on both sides to keep him up.
Well, I can see a TKO. I could see Canelo busting him up so badly that the ref stops it. Yeah.
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 I don't think that, like I said, man, I would be surprised if Triple G was competitive in that third fight. I mean, listen, he's a professional fighter. You can't count him out. He's a champion. He's got power, and he's been there for a long time. He's cagey. He's got all the intangibles. but he has turned that corner. I don't think there's any question about that. And given the fact that he's turned that corner, I don't know that he can be competitive against a guy who's really kind of hitting a stride now. He's the money man in the division. He's the money man in boxing, and he's hitting a stride. I mean, this guy is pound for pound. You can't argue with it. It's pound for pound the best fighter in the world. I mean, you could say Lomachenko, you could say Crawford, you could say whoever you want. As long as Andre Ward is not boxing, this guy is the pound for pound king right now.
Best resume in boxing. Well,
no question.
If this was a skyscraper with 2 elevators and each guy was in one elevator, one guy's elevator would be going up and the other guy's elevator would be going down. And I'm sure I'm sure you can figure out who's going up and who's going down. So, I don't think many people would argue with that. And by this fight happening so far after the second fight, it doesn't do Golovkin any favors.
No, and they wanted to wait and wait and wait for that first fight, and they're
smart. They're smart. They.
That's a classic De La Hoya move, though. That's that's what he did in his career. He's a classic De La Hoya move.
That's the Floyd Mayweather blueprint. Wait till the guys get, a little bit softened up, a little bit shop worn, and then we go in and take them out. Right.
It's insane, man. I'll tell you, I just don't see any scenario that Triple G wins this fight.
Well, I'm going to tell you something crazy, and I'm not trying to put anyone on blast, and I'm not trying to name drop. Well, maybe I am, but I was talking to Jesse Regan yesterday, and he thinks Golovkin's going to win. He's going to be making a bet with Brian. Brian's got Canelo. And I said, dude, you just won your money. Why you want to give it back to him, bro?
Did he get paid?
Yeah, he got paid.
Did he get okay? So Brian,
we had to send the pipe hitters down there, man.
From Beeb Industries,
we got the money. We got him down there. We got the money.
And he's gonna bet Brian again.
Yeah.
He's just gonna give the money right back to him.
Give the money right back, man. I told him, Jesse.
Wow.
I said, you know what my father once told me? He goes, you know how you double your money? You fold it in half and put it in your pocket.
That's it. That's how you do it.
That's a Beeb Senior original. You fold it in half and put it in your pocket.
Beeb Senior.
So why won't Jesse just fold that money in half and stick it in his pocket? Why has he got to give it right back to him?
Unbelievable. That's the thing, man. Like guys that gamble, they like the action, and I mean they'll make crazy bets. That's the thing.
That's the worst. He's fiending. He's fiending right now. He's got to get some action.
That's a bad bet. My gosh.
He's got to get some action.
There's no way he beats Canelo.
I would be inclined if I was a gambler to lay a little money on Pulev versus Joshua. I'm not saying Pulev will win, but I have a feeling, man. I have a feeling that fight can be tough. It's going to be a tough fight for Joshua. I just have a feeling. I don't know what it is.
Let me tell you what. Aram is going around talking about Pulev is going to knock Joshua out.
Yeah.
This, that. Listen, Pulev has never impressed me. He has never impressed me.
Nah. Yeah, he gave Klitschko a decent fight.
Never impressed me.
You don't think he gave Klitschko a decent fight?
How long ago was that? They didn't even have cars back then, Beeb.
It was a long time ago.
That was 20, 30 years ago.
That was back when I had right now I have the Note 10. I think I had the Note 6 with that thing. I had the Samsung Note 6. Now I have the Samsung Note 10.
Phone. You had a flip phone back then. Yeah.
Back then, this hat wasn't as faded as it is now.
Yeah, I mean, that was like 40 years ago, man.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, he gave Klitschko. That's his only claim to fame. What else does he beat? And they're talking about he's going to knock this guy out. He's going to knock out Joshua.
I mean, you gotta favor Joshua, but something's telling me that this
Yes,
fight.
you got to favor Joshua. Let me tell you, Joshua's going to run through that guy.
You think it's going to be an easy fight for Joshua?
I think it's going to be an easy fight for Joshua.
Bro.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's an easy fight for Joshua.
Pulev got a good right hand too, man. That's the thing, Joshua, he gets hit with those right hands so flush sometimes. I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be a tough fight.
That's right. Pulev was the one that kissed that Jenny Sushi chick.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, that kind of reinvigorated his career. You don't think so?
He could have done. That was the best thing he could have done.
Man. Ever since then, he's been,
like that, Beeb, because I'm a married man, and I play the, I don't ever.
Yeah, we don't want to get too. We don't want to divulge into the specifics of that, the intricacies of that. But
no way.
It's part of our job to report these.
We got to report it. What are we going to do? Ignore?
We can't ignore these stories that the people need to hear and want to hear.
That's right. That's absolutely it, man. Yeah, man. So I don't see, and they're talking about that fight is going to be delayed.
Yeah, it's going to be delayed, I think.
Okay, so what? Yeah. I mean, that's another fight. I mean, I love watching Anthony Joshua fight. Because I think he's a really good fighter, no matter what. I like
Anthony Joshua too, man.
Really good fighter. I think he's good for the division. I think he's good for the sport.
Yeah. You got love for Anthony Joshua.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, man. Yeah, I don't think Pulev. I mean, Bob Arum, listen, man, in a perfect Bob Arum world, the best case scenario for Bob Arum, could you imagine if Pulev does pull off that fight? Well, even if he does pull off the fight, I don't know that it matters because they'll get a rematch clause. Tyson Fury will be on the shelf he'll fight other guys, but yeah. I don't know.
Brian did Notorious. We just told you that we were just talking about Brian paying Jesse his bet. Eric just asked me that. We just talked about that.
Yeah, he might have missed it, but yeah, Brian did pay up. Brian's a real man. He paid up.
He must have went to the bathroom when we were talking about that.
Yeah. But yeah, Brian paid him up, man. How about that? Paid him up.
Yeah.
Who is PED in the chat? What's going
on in the chat here? JC, you got the wrench, man. Do your job.
Yeah, do your job, JC. Come on.
Do your job, JC. We got a show to do over here. Okay?
Come on.
We got a show to do over here.
Yeah, JC.
You're the lone wrench squad.
You're over there daydreaming about Jenny Sushi, and this guy's over there running a rough shot in the chat.
Yeah.
This is on your watch, son. Nobody else's.
So there's two PEDs in the chat. One's the fake one. It's almost like the
What?
It's like remember the WWE? You had like the real Earl Hebner,
the real Razor and the real Diesel.
Yeah, the fake one. Yeah, that's crazy.
Brian had a good excuse with the COVID-19 and still paid up. Respect.
Well, Trump's giving people like grace period to pay their mortgages and their rent and shit.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Maybe Brian thought that was applicable to him with the bet.
Right. Not a Beeb Industry, son. We don't play that here.
Beeb Industries, we have an emergency fund for our employees. Anyone who works for the Beeb Industries is drawing a check under these horrible times right now.
That's right.
We are going to pay our employees. We're not going to dip into their sick time at all. We're just going to pay them because we don't want to lose our great employees.
I tell you what, it's insane. I mean, this whole thing, man, has just been crazy. People getting laid off left and right, things shutting down left and right. Ohio, we're going to be on lockdown as of tomorrow at midnight. Ohio is going on lockdown. So it's crazy, man.
This is crazy, man.
We've lived through a lot of things, like 9/11 and stuff like that. We've never seen anything like this. Anything like this.
Yeah. So it's pretty sad.
Yeah. What are you going to do, man?
Lois
but you know,
like
2 weeks ago, you remember this 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
We were talking about this. There were what, 600 cases in the US? Maybe.
Well,
over 20 some thousand now. We're third on the list.
But the beautiful thing about this is like 90% of the people that have this do not have to be hospitalized.
Yeah.
That's the good thing. And now it's down to 1% death rate, you know. And a lot of people probably have it right now, but they're just asymptomatic, so they don't, you know, but they still should practice the social distancing and not go in large crowds and stuff. I'm disappointed and I'm sad, obviously, for people that are hurting right now, people that have the virus that are suffering, people that are out of work and stuff. But I believe that we're going to get through this. I think the country's starting to pull together really well right now, and I think we'll bounce back from this. We're having a temporary setback for a major comeback. I believe in this country, man.
I think so. I mean, you know, you think about it, it's the job, everything will go back to normal. I don't think it'll ever be the place that it was. I mean, just like on 9/11 when things changed, once things got back to normal, a lot of things have changed. It wasn't the same thing. And this will be much the same way. Maybe you got a lot more people working from home now. You know, I think
that's what they were saying. And now companies are going to start to think twice about, you know, should we have these people come in when they could do what we need them to do? They could save money on you, not to sound stupid.
Save a lot of money
on utilities. They can, you know, use less electricity at the offices. You know what I'm saying? Give people laptops, and you know, most people have laptops. I have a laptop they gave me at work anyways, and I'm using that as well. I have a desktop, but they also gave me a laptop when I first started there. So, you know, by not being there and not using up the office, I mean, I think they can, in the long run, save some money by having more people work at home. You know?
Yeah.
And the thing is this, you'll save on sick time too, because if someone's sick, you don't want them in the office anyway, so you can just let them work from home, you know, where they can't, you know, just work a couple hours from home and rest the rest of the day. So you can still have people be productive and you won't have to pay them sick time, you know.
Right.
If Lois gets corona, does she get time off? Yeah, I just said that we are paying all our employees because we have a shutdown. We're not considered essential here at Beeb Industries.
I think we're very essential.
I think we're essential, but we're basically an entertainment company. We're basically a media company here at Beeb Industries. We do have some stocks and some industrial manufacturing, but primarily Beeb Industries is an entertainment company. So we're considered non-essential. So by the governor's order, we had to shut down. Lois is at home right now. She's drawing a check. Every Friday.
She's at home, you know what I'm saying?
Every Friday, she's getting that direct deposit, you know?
Yes, she is.
Even in times like this, you still can't leave her alone.
I didn't say anything, man. I didn't say
Oh, my God. Yeah, Lois is getting paid.
Yes, she is. And I want to thank Beeb Industries for this beautiful studio that was built for me. State-of-the-art, full state-of-the-art studio. I got to adjust my camera, though, because, like, I have to, like, instead of, like, being eye level with it, I'm like, you know, it's almost like it's coming down.
Well, once
a regular studio.
Yeah, once we get the second phase of that studio production completed, which I think will happen maybe in the next couple of weeks, you'll see a lot of improvements to the functionality of all the equipment in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Very, very state of the art over here. Thank you so much, Beeb.
No problem.
All right, let's go to the calls here. 805.
That Notch?
You're live. I don't know.
Nacho.
Hey guys, what's up? It's me.
What's
How you
happening?
doing? Are you on lockdown? Are you you allowed to even call in because of the lockdown?
Nah, man. It's actually not that bad over here. Like, I mean, yeah, they've shut down like all the businesses. Like, we're really not allowed to go out except to maybe go to the grocery store and, you know, go get food at like the different restaurants. But
can you go
other
for a
than
walk?
that, you can pretty much go do anything else. Like, yeah, you can go for a walk. You can exercise.
That's all.
You know, you can take your dogs out for a walk. So
this ain't bad.
Really
this ain't bad.
Yeah.
This ain't bad. We can get through this.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah.
I went out walking today.
Yeah,
put my mask on,
really
look like a ninja.
I'm gonna wear a balaclava.
I put my mask on. I had my mask on, my ski cap on. I look like a ninja, baby. I look like Venom.
Okay.
That guy Venom from Marvel Comics. That's what I look like today. Go ahead, Notch. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hijack it. I didn't mean to hijack your call.
He looks like the dude at the car wash with all that gear on.
No, it's all right. Well, yeah, guys. I mean, as far as like all of these fights being canceled, it's just been really tough to see all these fights dropping like flies lately. It's like, my God, like it's like nothing to watch. And I mean, yeah, there's like stories here and there coming out about what possible fights might get made later on this year, but it seems like everything right now in the boxing world is just every fight that's being canceled from now up until May, possibly. So it's just kind of, it's been really like difficult to watch them just like saying, yeah, it looks like this fight's going to get canceled. This fight's off. This fight's been postponed. It's like, my God, like when are we going to actually see guys get back into the ring? I mean, at this point, it sounds like we might not see anybody get back into the ring until like maybe August if we're lucky.
Well, maybe it's time we started thinking outside the box. Maybe we pay a couple of dudes in the back alley and we start doing our YouTube channel like that. Have them go at it. You know what I mean? Remember like how Kimbo Slice got started?
They already did that. They already did that before. They called it bum fights, Derek.
I'm gonna come up with something, right? I'm gonna put a camera in my living room, right? And I'm gonna move the furniture around, and I'm gonna have what's called living room boxing.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
How about that? Living room boxing.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Because we can't go outside. We can't go outside, right? So we're gonna have living room.
And if you can supply it.
Living room. Gonna have living room boxing. I'll be punching my brother out on camera.
Oh, all right.
How's that?
Your brother.
So okay. Yeah, I mean, the one thing I definitely did want to bring up because you guys, I'm sure talking about it is finally the third fight is going to be made between Gennadiy and Canelo. I don't know, man. I just think at this point, the way it's looking, I think he's literally on his last legs, and this is just a big, a final payday for Gennadiy at this point. Because, I mean, after that war he went through with Deverenchenko, I'm sure Canelo's licking his chops, thinking that he's pretty much a spent bullet at this point. So I'm sure that's why he had no problem making the fight after, seeing him, whatever was left of him, get left in that fight. So, it is what it is. I mean, it's good for him that at least he gets one more shot at him, but I don't anticipate it ending well for Gennadiy at this point. I think he probably ends up losing that fight as well.
I think he loses that fight big time, yeah.
So, yeah. And then, what was it? I don't know. I brought it up the other day because it was the only card on. I was totally surprised at how Showtime was able to carry that card out with like 60 people inside the building, and they went through with it, but then everyone else just totally shut down all of their cards last weekend. I thought that was really interesting that, none of the guys on that card got tested, but yet they still went ahead with the card. I mean, I don't know what you guys thought about that.
Which one? You talking about that Showbox card or what?
The Showbox card, yeah.
Yeah.
The Showbox card.
I don't know. Because the next day, I think was it the next day? Was it that Saturday? Top Rank was supposed to have a card in New York or something, and they were going to go through with it. Yeah,
and then PBC was supposed to have one in Maryland.
They were going to go through with it. Now PBC, I believe, canceled before Top Rank did. Top Rank was going to go through with it with no people there, but they couldn't get tests for according to Aram, he said they couldn't get tests for the fighters, and so they just called it off. And now the big thing is, and we're kind of wondering, well, why can't they just do it? Why can't they just fight in an empty arena or in a gym somewhere? Well, it's not that easy. The New York and Las Vegas have both closed everything down for combat sports until April something.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
And you got Corona, son.
No, it's the
That's
allergies.
not a normal sneeze. No.
I took my temperature. I took my temperature. It's only.
You better take it again, son.
Oh man,
I'm like that stuff just being up here with you.
It's only 96.
I don't know how to.
96 temperature.
And you had people in here putting my studio together.
Sorry.
It's messed up. Anyway, as I was saying, I was rudely interrupted. You know, so the commissions are shut down. So now they got to find a place to fight. But the thing is, they can't, they say they don't want any groups of 10 or more. Groups of 10, that's it. So you can't put a TV, you can't have fighters in there and a production crew and everything like that. It just doesn't work. So I don't know how, I don't know that there's a way to get around it. Dana White was talking about going to like another country or something like that to get that Ferguson fight done, the Ferguson-Khabib fight. I don't know.
Yeah, but where can he go where no one's infected right now? That's
it's not a question of if people are infected there. Everywhere in the world, people are infected. However, it's a question of will they let you be in groups of 10 or more to do it? And if he can get, if they can get that sanctioned out, because you can fight anywhere. They can put that ring up and fight anywhere because they're not going to have, no matter where they go, they're probably not going to have an audience. Okay. But it's just a matter of getting enough people together and that being allowed by the government to happen. That I don't know. But I guarantee somewhere in the world will do it.
Yeah.
But will the fighters want to go there? I don't know.
I saw something yesterday on the internet in regards to that fight that, I don't know how true it is, or maybe it's just a rumor, but apparently Dana White and the UFC is talking to a couple of countries in Africa about trying to host that fight. And I was like, are you serious right now? I was like, wow. Like that'd be crazy if they ended up sanctioning that fight to happen somewhere in Africa.
You know what it is? It's a bad luck fight though. That Ferguson-Khabib fight is a bad luck fight. Yeah. You think about it, that first fight, Khabib came in overweight. The second fight, Tony Ferguson tripped at ESPN Studios over a cord and messed his knee up.
Actually, no, that wasn't that. That was the third. That was the third one, Eric. The second one was Ferguson injured himself in training camp. Yeah.
Wow.
This is the fifth time they tried to make that fight.
Oh,
the first one was Khabib missed weight. The second one was Tony injured himself about 2 weeks before the fight was supposed to happen. He injured himself in training camp, and that's why they pulled the plug the second time. And the third time was the one where he shredded his leg on that stupid cable wire. So actually, this is the fourth time they tried to make this damn fight. Yeah,
that's insane, man.
I don't know. I think you're right. I think this fight is just jinxed. At this point, it's just jinxed. It might just never happen.
They got to fight. Man. Yeah, they got to fight.
That's crazy.
Well, so far they haven't canceled it, but at this point, it's interesting because I saw something the other day where they talked to Cormier, and he said, he's all they have the gym. No one is allowed in the gym except Khabib and the guys who are his training partners. That's it. They're allowed to go train right now because at this point they're preparing like the fight is still going to happen.
All the jiu-jitsu places are closed down.
At this point,
all of them are closed down now.
Yeah.
And they took a while.
But apparently that gym, AKA.
Yeah, they took a while to close them down over here, man. They just closed them down, I think, this week. And, it was one of those things where, like, dude, you could, this is definitely, you're in too close of quarters not to get anything. That's why I tell you not to go if you're sick or anything like that. Yeah. If you got like a cold or flu, obviously, you don't want to be around that because you're grabbing people. You're in too close. You will get it, So, yeah,
yeah, you will get sick.
Yeah, oh, for sure. No questions about it. You're breathing on each other, you're wrestling around. It just happens.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, but, Cormier said that they're still letting him train. So, I don't know. Until they officially pull the plug, at this point, it looks like they're still trying to make it happen somewhere. Yeah. But where that's going to be is the big question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, though, if they're successful, I wouldn't put it past boxing to follow suit. I really wouldn't.
Oh yeah, if White is able to find a country
that
will sanction it, and it goes off without a hitch,
Yeah.
I could definitely see Aram, Hearn, and the PBC trying to find a country or somewhere else, just like they did, to sanction whatever fights they need to get,
Right.
going for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I just, like you said, I think it's jinxed, and I don't see that fight happening at this point, unless some miracle happens at the last minute. I don't see that fight happening. I think it's gonna get the plug pulled on it again for the fourth time.
It's insane.
So,
insane.
Fight's cursed.
Yeah, it's nuts. But like you said, I think that fight's just destined not to happen.
Ridiculous.
So,
yeah. Hopefully it comes off,
yeah.
though.
Oh well.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it'd be there's such a huge demand for it, and everybody wants to see it. But man, it's just like one thing after another. It's just not happening. And it's like, at this point, it's almost like you don't know what else would happen the next time if they reschedule it.
Right. Yeah, you don't know. I mean,
yeah.
How many times can you reschedule this fight? You know?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, the next thing we know, they reschedule it again, and then what if one of these guys goes to prison or something?
It'd be like Penitentiary. We'd have a fight in there. Remember that movie,
what
Penitentiary? What was that movie, Penitentiary? And then the other one was Undisputed. Remember
Undisputed? Undisputed, yeah. Wesley Snipes and Ving Rhames, baby. Ving Rhames got upsetted.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah, they might have to do that then. So,
man,
cool.
What are you
all
gonna
right,
do?
guys. Well,
all right, man.
I know you guys. I'm sure you have other callers. All right, guys.
You got work tomorrow, Nach? Or you off? You off?
No, actually, we just got sent home, Beeb, because I work with older adults who have mental issues.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of this whole idea that you have to be really one-on-one with them, they don't want us taking any chances. So we haven't had any contact with our clientele for the last week or so. So at this point, like, we're not even seeing them and we're not dealing with them. So they pretty much just told all of us to stay home until this whole thing kind of resolves itself.
Do you need assistance from the Beeb Emergency Fund?
No, thank God.
Make sure you're all right.
I'm good, Beeb. I got a nice nest egg put away for the meantime. So I'm not really. Yeah.
Good man.
Yeah. So I'm good.
Okay.
Cool. All right, guys.
All right, man.
I'll talk to you next week then.
All right, we'll talk to you.
All right, man.
All right.
See ya.
Nacho.
All right.
There we go. Let's see here. So still trying to get the hang of this whole thing. I gotta move some things around in the studio. You know how, like, you set it up and then you're looking at it and you start working with it, you're like, this should be over here, this should be over here. That's kind of where I am.
How's that chair? You need a new chair or anything? I
wouldn't mind one, put it that way.
You want it like to be heated, or you want it just regular?
No, I would really like a heated one. It's definitely it would definitely improve my performance.
You want us to throw a ceiling fan in that office as well? Or?
Yes.
Let me know all the special details you need.
I'll send you my rider.
Yeah.
And then because I'm a high talent now. What am I going to do? That's right.
Okay.
Adjust your liking. Resmack. Oh, so Tyson Fury avoids court this week. Beeb, he's your boy. You're responsible for him.
Everyone's coming for that dude's neck, isn't it? They're all coming for his neck now.
They are.
Since he won the title, man. Since he won the title, they're all coming for his neck.
I tell you what, though, this was definitely legit, though. When Fury came back, he hooked up with Frank Warren, but was still under contract with Mick Hennessy.
Yeah.
This obviously didn't sit well with Hennessy, who sued him and won £1.5 million. They settled out of court for that much money. And it's not a lot of money in the grand scheme of things, especially given Tyson Fury's financial situation now.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what, somebody wants to send £1.5 million my way, which is about what, two something, 2 million maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, yeah, send it my way, man.
It's like 1.75.
That's really?
Yeah.
That's it? I thought it was more than that.
Yeah. So well,
I thought
let's
it
see
was
what
more than
let's see what the exchange rate is right now because it changes every day. So I'm just curious. British
Imagine it's close
pounds.
to even, depending on what's going on here.
Yeah. British pounds. British pounds to dollars. I'm curious. Okay, British pounds to dollars right now. Oh wow, it's really
What's
low
that?
now. It's one pound is worth $1.16. Wow,
Oh wow, that's almost even
went
money.
went down a lot. It's usually way more than that.
Yeah, that's usually. I mean, that's almost even
So
money
I
right
was
there.
right. It's
Yeah,
$1.74 million. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's $1.74 million.
There you go.
Yeah, the rate's low.
There it is. So, and that's pretty much the news. I tell you what, that's pretty much the news for this week. And obviously, there's no fights going on for the foreseeable future.
Yeah,
So, me and Beeb came up with this idea, and we used to do it back in the day. I think me and Robert used to do it. Then I think me and Beeb did it for a little while, and then it just kind of got dropped or whatever. But it's like a fantasy boxing tournament. And so, what we'll do each week, we'll pick like a weight, and we'll pick like maybe what is a four? What are the maybe we do top four fighters maybe, or
yeah.
top eight fighters, something
We
like
had
that.
8 fighters, and then we did like a round robin with them.
Yeah. So we'll have like 8 fighters, and then do like a round robin tournament with them. Trying to think here, like, so what weight? And they could be fighters. So let's set the criteria here. They'd be fighters across the eras.
Yeah.
All right. We're trying to find the best ever. You know what I mean?
Let's ask the people in the chat, which weight do you guys want us to start with? Want to start with like featherweights or lightweights or something like that? Maybe
Lightweight we already did. Lightweight we already
Lightweights?
did. And Roberto Duran came out tops on the lightweights. It was him and Pernell Whitaker. They came out on top.
We never did heavyweights, did we?
Never did heavyweights.
We can do heavyweights. We never did cruiserweights.
Let's do heavyweights.
We'll do heavyweights. We never did light heavyweights either.
No, we sure didn't.
We never did
we sure
middleweights. We never did middleweights either.
Middleweights would be good.
Yeah.
Middleweights would be very good. Let's do. You want to do middleweights?
You want to do middleweights?
Middleweights.
I want to do heavyweights first. Then we'll do middleweights. How's that? Want to do that?
Let's do heavyweights first. Let's do.
Yeah.
JC said featherweights. A lot of good featherweights. Let's do heavyweights. Let's do that. We'll pick out the top 8 heavyweights according to us.
And we can still report news too as it comes in. You know.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But this is to keep it going, man. This will keep
some of the dead air going.
Right. Keep us occupied here. So who are some of the top heavyweights ever? So we got Ali, obviously. You got
Lennox
Ali.
Lewis, Ali,
Lennox
George
Lewis.
Foreman, Joe Frazier. You know what we should do though? Try to get a good mix of try to always mix obviously an old heavyweight with a new heavyweight. So out of the modern era heavyweights. Oh, thank you, Raphael.
Thank you very much,
that.
Raphael.
Out of the new age heavyweights, we can take Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, and Riddick Bowe, Lennox Lewis, and we'll you know what we'll do? We'll throw Michael Moore in there, okay? And then we can take.
How about Joe Frazier?
No, but that's the new crop. So the old crop of heavyweights we could use: Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Ken Norton.
All right, let me write this down. Got it here. All right, so we got.
I'll send it to you. I can send it to you. So
Ali.
We'll have old era. We'll have era. The way we will structure these tournaments is we'll have era versus era.
Okay.
Okay. So at the end, it'll always be an old timer versus a new timer.
But what about as we advance, though? As we advance, because you could have, or should we have new era fighting new era, old era fighting old era? But I guess we already know the answers to that, right?
No. We'll have old era versus new era, right?
Okay.
And then what we'll do is whoever's at the end is at the end. Because again, even though Foreman fought Ali one time, right?
Right.
You could still make an argument that a rematch Foreman could have done better. There's no, Foreman was he was winning rounds in that fight. But the way we should match this up is old era versus new era, okay, in a tournament. And then what we could do is just match the top guy gets a top guy,
Tyson is a guy. I think Tyson is a guy we left off that list too. I think when we were doing it, Ali.
I think I said Tyson. So you have
we say Tyson, okay.
Yeah, so we'll have George Foreman. Like the old era will be George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, Ken Norton. We could throw Larry Holmes in there. We can throw we can throw Larry Holmes in there. We can throw.
Well, and what we'll do is we'll get the names together, right?
Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano.
Yeah, we'll get the names together.
Yeah.
And then because we're going to come up with over 8 names.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we're going to have 8 people in the tournament. And so we'll debate. Let's have a show like maybe say Wednesday or something like that, because I'm going to be off work, I'm sure. Let's do a show like Wednesday or something. What do you think? Say do a show Wednesday and then have like the people that are going to be participating in it and why. We'll set the final bracket on that day.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the show on Sunday, and then we'll have a couple of fights. Then we'll run it down because it'll take us a few days to the results and everything.
Can have like Floyd Patterson, Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Ken Norton, and Joe Frazier. And we'll have Larry, even though Larry Holmes fought in the modern era, we'll put him in the older era because we'll use him as the older, like him in his older era. You know what I mean? And George Foreman obviously fought in the modern era too, but we'll put him in the older era. And we'll match it up like Foreman versus Tyson because he already fought Holyfield, right? And we could do like Lennox Lewis versus Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, or Marciano or somebody,
Marciano versus Tyson or Tyson versus Frazier. It'll be fucking awesome. And then I think it's going to be fun.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll do heavyweights and, yeah.
We'll do the old versus the young, and whoever's in the finals is in the finals. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that because we're looking for the best heavyweight ever. So it is what it is.
And more, so what happens if, like, I'm sure when it's all said and done, I think we'll have an old and a new guy fight each other in the finals. There's a good enough chance that will happen.
Yeah. What about Joe Louis, man?
I already said him.
Did you say Joe Louis? Okay.
I did. I said Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano. Yeah, Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, Floyd Patterson. Could even throw Ezra Charles in there. He was a heavyweight champion.
Charles, Cincinnati, baby.
Yeah, throw Ezra Charles in there.
Title town. I'd pick him to be the odds-on favorite. Yeah,
so that'd be fun. I think everyone would like that, and this will encourage people to like do some research on some of these older fighters.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How do we? Okay, so I'll make the pick. We'll set the ground rules here. I'll make the pick, or we can set them on Wednesday too. But I'm just thinking out loud. I'll make a pick. You make the pick, and we also have a tie break pick. How do we do that?
That's gonna be a tough one. You know what we should do? We should bring a third panelist on for this.
Yeah, we should. We should have a third panelist. If someone on the chat wants to do, like, this is what we should do. Every week, we should have someone from the chat, like a special panelist, a different one every week. We could have Mike Montero on one week, or we can have like Raph can be on one week if he wants to be on. We can have Nacho on one week if he wants to be on. Yeah, and then he'll be so. Each week we can have like a guest third judge if you think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea. Right? I think that's a good idea. I think we're going to definitely figure that out. But yeah, we have to have, before it was a computer, but the computer is good for like older fighters, not necessarily for new fighters like Wilder or something like that. It's not that.
See, Ralph said cool, so maybe he can do it with us for the first week, or even if Ralph wanted to do it. Well, we'll give other people a chance to do it too. But
Georgie says this is when you guys say Sugar Ray will lose to Porter, Keith, and Spence, huh? Sugar Ray Robinson, I'm telling you right now, and I think remember when we had this, I had Sugar Ray Robinson almost losing to Zab.
We got so much heat for this.
People, hey, listen, I still stand by that. Zab Judah would have beaten Sugar Ray Robinson. I am telling you right now, I am not backing off of it. He would have beat Sugar Ray Robinson.
See, Ralph said he's down for it, and Nacho said he'd do it.
Nacho's down for it.
Georgie can't do it.
Man, his phone calls been limited.
If Georgie did it, we need an interpreter because he'd be yelling so loud we wouldn't be able to understand him.
Speaking of which, let's bring him on. Let's bring Georgie on. He's on the line here.
I don't know if I'm going to regret this. Go ahead, Georgie.
Hey, what's happening, people?
How you doing, Georgie?
We're talking about fantasy. We're talking about fantasy matches.
Yeah.
We can't talk about real matches. So
fucking Porter and all these bums, huh?
I'm telling you, Sugar Ray. I'm saying Zab Judah would have beat Sugar Ray Robinson. And Burgess Meredith has asked me to explain this, so let me explain it. Zab Judah was bigger, he was stronger, and he was faster at that weight than Sugar Ray Robinson was. It's just a fact. He's bigger, stronger, and faster. Let me tell you, or he's definitely faster, and he's probably stronger. All right.
Well, he's not actually bigger. He's not actually bigger because Sugar Ray Robinson's.
But I imagine he's stronger, and he's definitely faster, and he's definitely stronger. The thing is, with Ray Robinson, if you watch his fights and you watch the style that he fights versus the style that Zab Judah carries now, it's a no-brainer. It's almost like saying like Joe Gans. You guys remember Joe Gans, the young master or whatever?
Yeah.
I think, what do they call him? The old master, I think they called him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, this guy was an amazing fighter back in the day. He could not carry that style. I'm telling you right now, that style will not translate. The style will not translate into today's fights.
Here's one thing to support your argument a little bit. I may disagree with it, but here's one thing that will support your argument. Sugar Ray Robinson lost to guys like Carmen Basilio, Gene Fuller,
who was a very good fighter, but not.
But these guys were short. Like Carmen Basilio was 5'6", and he beat Robinson. Gene Fuller was 5'8". You know, Jake LaMotta was 5'8". Sugar Robinson was 5'11", so he was bigger and longer than all these guys. So even though Judah's like 5'7", he's got a long reach too, though.
Yeah, and I'm saying, man, I don't think his style would have translated to today's style. That's why, like, if we were gonna do this, I wouldn't take like a boxer from the 20s and put him in there because his style just won't translate. Look at John L. Sullivan, one of the best fighters ever. All right, one of the best bare knuckle fighters ever. His style would not translate to this day. This, the backwards fist and everything like that, that will not translate, son.
Well,
and not that Robinson fought like that.
I have to dispute something that Raphael said in the chat. He says Sugar Ray would be stronger now in the modern era.
It doesn't matter what he would be in the modern era.
Well, here's I don't think you should look at it that way. I think you should just act as if both guys jumped in a time machine and they met together in a dimension, like the fifth dimension. Right.
Even still, he you look at his style and you look at the modern style. You know what I mean? Well, he said would Sugar be stronger now in the modern era?
Here's the problem. Here's the problem.
Stop, people. Stop with the nonsense. We cannot have people over here talking about 1% infection rate, and you talking about respecting Sugar Ray Robinson.
You're still on this? Hey, what's the
get any credibility?
Hey, how much Corona do you guys got over there at Rikers?
Jesus, fuck, let a nigga burn, man. Yo, listen, bro, we can have this talk here, man. Sugar Ray Robinson. It's hard to make the comparison. First of all, because the dude's in another era. And to what Beeb said, yeah, you cannot compare it because that's what we're making it. The comparison is being made because they're from different eras. And we wonder what could have happened. As a boxing fan, we wonder, we fathom on this fucking thing. But, yo, there ain't no way none of these motherfuckers Paul ain't beating no Sugar Ray Robinson. Keith ain't beating no Sugar Ray Robinson. And now you're saying who? Who you talking about? Talking about the nurse?
Super Judah.
Super Judah.
The nurse.
Super Judah.
So, listen, but you guys make. This is the problem right here. What happened with fucking when
Costa-Zoo?
what the fuck is this dude? Nah, Costa-Zoo. Oh yeah, Costa-Zoo has to do with it. When Costa-Zoo fought Judah, that was his time. After that was his time. When fucking Gamboa fought Wamba, that was his time. Where the fuck back then? That was his time. But we putting fucking all Gamboa to find who the fucking fought. Who Gamboa fought last? Who was the last guy Gamboa fought? Hello?
Yes.
Backtrack to that shit. Who was the last guy that Gamboa fought?
He fought Tank.
Yeah, he fought Davis, Tank Davis.
And he was mad all the time. Mad all. So now everyone to make this comparison about who knows what statue that you're talking about. Who the fuck knows what statue on time you're talking about? Because the one who walked up the two got his fucking kick. And what, that Costa-Zoo gonna be fucking Sugar Ray Robinson? Because of her style? So Costa-Zoo would have fucked up Sugar Ray Robinson too? Everybody beating Sugar Ray Robinson, huh? Yo, you guys got your shit fucked up. Fucked up. Anyway, let's go back to the real shit. Listen, there is 20 million. Follow me here, people. 20 million cell phones that disappear from China networks. Let that shit sink on your fucking brain before we start talking about 1% infection rate and 2 weeks from now coming back and looking stupid.
4%.
Let that sink in.
4% is the death rate for this.
20 million.
No, not right now. It's not. 400 people. 400 people died out of 31,722. We're at 1.2%.
In the U.S.
Oh, in the U.S. Yeah. That's what I said. In the U.S. I'm talking about the U.S. numbers.
But this is the problem with this statistic that gives comfort to people. They want to be expressed around. You cannot say this because people feel comfortable. They think it's true. It ain't true, my dude.
He's the dude that went in aisle 7 last night and bought all the toilet paper. This panicked motherfucker.
Ooh, Georgie?
Yeah, this panicked motherfucker. He went to friggin' ShopRite last night in aisle 17 and got all the toilet paper. That's why when I went there today, it was gone. Because he panicked. Because he panicked. Because he panicked. Because he's panicking.
Listen, I've been telling you for a long time, I don't feel part of the human race. I've been saying it to you for a long time. Before I go out there and get infected chasing some goddamn toilet paper, I will wipe my ass with my hands. Get that straight.
That ain't too healthy, man. That ain't too healthy, man.
Listen, bro, but this is serious, people. This is serious. This shit is fucked up. How can you say I never seen this shit in the fucking face? Listen, the first thing that people gotta realize is how fucked up China it is, baby. Where people disappear just to look in the wrong way. Let me repeat this. For some reason, don't fucking make sense in your brain. For some unknown reason, this is not clicking. When a country like China fucking locked down 700 million motherfuckers. Doggy, I gotta tell you something. You don't need no more fucking numbers besides that. How could you tell me that they're more deaths in Italy per capita that they are in China when they got 1,600,000,000 motherfuckers? That doesn't add up. Are you people stupid?
So are you saying the numbers are wrong? Is that what I'm understanding?
How could you break it down? How could you break it? How could you break this shit down any simpler than that? How?
Because they're not reporting all the numbers.
It's frustrating, baby.
What's he talking
Of
about?
course they are. And
Let him burn. Let him burn. Let him burn. Let him get it out. Let him get it out. Let him get it all out.
Not even test don't fucking work. The numbers are fraudulent. You got to believe on mafia and believe on government and believe on motherfuckers on the top.
Clearly, the Chinese numbers are wrong.
Shit fucked up.
Clearly, the Chinese numbers are wrong. Yeah, we agree with that. I agree with that. Beeb, you agree with that, right?
Yes, I do.
I agree with that.
They're,
of course.
I'm talking about 1% sexual rate.
You know, I got to be honest with you, Georgie. Before you go any further with this, you're not sounding too good, man. I got to be honest, man. You got a sore throat or something? Doesn't he sound like a little raspy?
I be yelling my ass out. I be yelling my ass out to everybody.
Have you been tested?
Have you been tested?
Have you been tested?
Nigga.
For like HIV or something like that, not just Corona. I'm talking about HIV.
Have you been tested?
You get tested for all.
Have you been tested for all viruses? Have you been tested for all?
I'm coming clean right now, nigga. I'm coming clean right now.
All right.
On YouTube, baby. I'll be dodging all my shots since fucking middle school. Dodging them. Never take no flu shot. I never take no pill. I never take shit. Never take.
That explains a lot. That explains a
Are
lot.
you eating your vegetables? Are you eating your fruits and vegetables? You eating your fruits and vegetables?
You know what I do? I look out for the truth, baby. Like everybody got to look out. I don't feel comfortable.
You can still look out for the truth and eat your fruits and vegetables. There's no reason why you can't do that.
From you, because I can make a few calls.
Yeah. Do you need some Mega Fit meals? Want me to ship some Mega Fit meals to your house?
Listen, now,
the Beeb Crisis Fund will take care of you.
Everything was fine. That the flu wasn't. It was like the flu.
Well,
would you gonna send me?
Clearly, I was wrong. All right. Hey, listen, I'm not a doctor.
Oh, fuck.
I'm not a doctor, you know? I mean, like, you know, I'll tell you what, you should not be getting any medical advice from me, okay?
Listen, everybody should be not taking no medical advice from nobody at this point, baby. You don't know who the enemy is. This shit is deep. This shit is a weapon, G. You guys listen to some shit. Listen, I gotta go. I want to tell everybody out there to be safe. Really stock up on your food. Get your fireworks. Protect your loved ones the best you can. And if anything happens, baby, it happens. That's the best you can do. But all this shit that is playing around with the 1% infection and everything gonna be fine in 8 months, no, it's not gonna be fine. I'm gonna see you probably 2 weeks from now, and I'm out.
All right.
You know, every time this guy calls in, I feel like I'm listening to an episode of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
What a bright little ray of sunshine he was today, huh?
He's got more conspiracy theories than Alex Jones, this kid.
My goodness.
It's like freaking It's like the Twilight Zone when he calls in. Fuck, what's going on here?
Well, I was trying to like decipher what he was talking about. I guess he was talking about the numbers in China are wrong. Yeah, if you think.
So this is what I don't understand about people. When people say this is fake, that's fake, that's fake, this is fake, that's fake. So in order to say something's fake, you have to know what is real. So if all these numbers are fake, then give me the real numbers. You know? I'm sure there's a margin of error.
There's got to be a margin of error.
And I'm sure China's probably not releasing all the information.
No. And my guess is neither is Russia or anything like that. I mean, Russia's got like 162 cases or something crazy, or at least they would have come the other day. Who knows what it is now?
Yeah,
Bronze Plumber just said the caller had a point. The death figures in China just stopped. Really?
Well, that's propaganda.
Well, sure it is. Yeah. I mean, just like, they've got more. What do they got? Like 50,000 infected there, or 80,000 infected?
Well, here's something that's disturbing to me. And
we'll probably pass Italy in a couple days.
Well, because of how big our population is.
Yeah, but I mean,
but not by percentage wise. But what I'm trying to say is this, and this is disturbing to me. Do you believe what is being put out there, that China knew about this and could have told us earlier, but they didn't? I don't know. I don't know how.
I don't believe it. I don't know. All right, but here's the thing. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that for a minute. And guys in the chat, feel free to chime in. I don't know, because I heard, from there's been a lot of news sources saying that the president was briefed on this back in January when this whole thing got started and chose to do nothing about it. So is it his fault that it came here? I don't know that I put that blame at his feet.
He's trying to say China knew about it earlier than that, and they could have told us earlier.
The one thing about this president, he does seem to blame everybody else.
Yeah, he's not big. He's not big on accountability. He's never going to say I made a mistake.
He's never going to say you made a mistake.
That is we can agree on that.
Do we blame him for China? Listen, it started in China. There's no two ways about it. China may try to blame us, but listen, it started in China. There's no two ways about it. It started in the Wuhan market, and that wet market over there. And, I know that the virus or whatever has bat DNA. How the bat DNA got there, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. But the virus started in China, okay? So I think that's, indisputable proof. I mean, it's indisputable at this point, all right? So did China know about it before everybody else did? Yeah, of course they did. But is it their fault? I mean, listen, man, just a couple of weeks ago, Beeb, and this was just a couple of weeks ago, the president got on TV and said it was a Democratic conspiracy with the news media and the Democrats trying to blow it out of proportion and then his whole newscast with Fox and everything said the same thing. Now they have a different story. Now it got serious. So he wasn't serious about this a couple of weeks ago, but now it's turned serious. What's to say that if we did that, why couldn't China have done the same thing?
Well, that was my next question. Did China think that maybe when they saw this originally, it wasn't as bad as it?
That's what I think. That's what I think happened. I mean,
that's an excellent point, and I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that
makes a lot of good point, Eric. That was my next question.
That's what I think. I don't think anybody thought this was going to be what it was going to be.
So no one intentionally downplayed this.
I don't. There was
no. I think I'm more apt to.
Listen, we got the president on tape 2 weeks ago, the president of the U.S. saying that it's not a big deal. It's a conspiracy created by the Democrats and the fake news media and this and that.
Yeah.
And now he's changed his tune.
Yeah.
And again, man, nobody thought it was what it was.
Well, let me ask you a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you think this president is handling this crisis? In fairness,
I don't know, because let's kind of analyze it here. When we see him, it's tough because like when we see him, when he gives these news conferences, it almost reminds me of like a big rah-rah speech, almost like you're at a one of those pep rallies.
Pep rally.
Where he says, "Oh yeah, everything's going great. We got troops. We got not troops, but supplies on the ground. All the nurses and they're doing a great job. Everybody's doing a great job. Blah blah blah." But then you talk to the doctors and they say, "No, we don't have any supplies."
Yeah, my sister's a nurse. My sister's a nurse. You know what she's telling me? They're using the same mask. They're going in a room and putting a mask on, and then when they leave the room, they have to take the mask off and put it like in one of those little shit, like a little pouch in a med cart, and they have to reuse it again.
Right. So that's the thing. They don't have a a good listen. They said testing wise, they were behind Italy. Testing wise, Italy was one of the worst ones. You saw how they shot up the map on the corona, on the viruses and everything like that.
Yeah.
We are behind Italy when it comes to testing. Now that's the crazy part about this whole thing. We are behind them now when it comes to testing. So just given that fact, okay, that we're behind them, and they showed the 10-day. They've got that the little chart that shows 10 days. Some people dispute it, some people don't, but it shows, because Italy's 10 days ahead of it, and we're 10 days behind, and we're even with them. So Italy's a very good litmus test to where we're going. As far as like if numbers and everything. Now, given the fact that we know all this now, if you self-quarantine, if you do the right things and you stay home and you only go out to get, your groceries or whatever, just, a little bit different story. Maybe you can prevent some of this. But then you got those idiots down on spring break. The guy, you remember, I don't know if you saw the video. The guy says, I know there's coronavirus is bad, but it's not going to stop me from partying.
Yeah.
That moron is from Milford, Ohio, which is just about maybe 30 minutes away from us. So, I mean, a lot of those kids were down. They were interviewing from Ohio, and it was just like, what is wrong with you people, man? Yeah. But is this a big conspiracy? Is this a big no?
Well, I don't. Here's my whole thing with people criticizing the president, and they have every right to do so because dissent is what we welcome in this country. You should be able to express your opinions on anything. But he's being accused of downplaying the virus. But I think it's his job to try to keep everybody calm. So could him trying to keep everybody calm be misconstrued at, like, what the media is trying to do is they're playing, because we know the media is very left leaning, and obviously they're not fans of the president. So the guy that asked him that question the other day, he's sitting there trying to play the victim. Oh, I asked him a legitimate question. But the way he framed that question, he goes, "Do you think it's right to give everyone all of this false hope?" So he basically accused the president of giving people false hope. So that's what pissed the president off. He basically set a trap for the president because he knew he was going to elicit a soundbite, like a response that was going to be worthy of a soundbite. So that's why he did it. Now, that doesn't absolve the president from taking the bait. Because if I was the president, like the way that question was asked, do you think this is right? This is what he says. He goes, you think this is right to give all these people this false hope? To give the American people all this false hope? Okay? And then he started reading off the statistics and shit, whatever. And then the president flipped out on him because the guy was fear-mongering. There's no question about what that guy was doing. All he had to do was just say this. What do you have to say to the American people who are afraid right now? What can you say to reassure them? That's all he had to say.
But what is it a bad? Let's talk about that for a minute.
That's all he had to say. That's all he had to say.
Because I saw the video, but I don't remember the question word for word.
They edited all the people that are re-showing that. They're editing out the part where he says, "What do you have to say to?" He goes, "Why?" He goes, "Why are you giving people all of this false hope?" Okay, that's like he's basically saying that.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because I think that's a fair question. I do think it's a fair question. Listen, I think you have to have some respect when you talk to, no matter what you think of the president, you have to have a respect for the president. He probably could have asked that a different way. And to be honest with you, probably should have asked that a different way. That being said, I think it is a fair question, because he just said that this drug, this malaria drug, was days away, literally days away. We're very, very close. And you talk to any doctor that they put on there, they says, we're not close at all. We're not even a little bit close. And he was like, well, FDA is going to waive regulations. No, they're not going to do that.
Some doctors have said that this looks very promising. And
which is great.
I don't remember him saying that the drug was days away. All I remember him saying was he's very optimistic about the drug. And the guy was telling him, why are you selling? Because he said he was optimistic about the drug. The guy was saying, why are you giving people false hope? Why would, like, how is that giving someone false hope by saying I'm optimistic about the drug? That's what I didn't agree with. Like, if you want to ask a question, like, he didn't have to frame that question that way. But you know what the president should have said to him?
I agree.
This is how the president should have answered. He should have said, well, I don't see this as giving the American people false hope because I'm genuinely optimistic about this. I mean that I mean, you know, from the bottom of my heart that I am optimistic about this. So I don't look at this as selling false hope. I think this is, you know, very promising, and I'm very excited about this. I think this is a step in the right direction, and I have a good feeling about it. That's basically what how he should have answered it. So I don't agree that he should have responded. I don't agree that I'm giving the American people false hope. I'm just telling people how I genuinely feel about this.
It's crazy when I see him say one thing. You know, I see him say one thing in the press conference and the doctors say another. You know, and this is the same guy. It's almost like, do you not believe in science? I don't understand. Like, what is it? Where's the disconnect here?
Yeah.
And I, you know, and to your credit, to your point here, which I thought was a very good one. His job really is, like I said, to keep these people calm, to try to calm the situation down. And I think he does that to an extent, but I think sometimes he goes a little overboard when he does it. And I think that's what's dangerous about it, because he gives people that false hope in the sense that we got a vaccine around and it'll be around in days. Listen, they're saying we're about a year away from a vaccine that'll take care of this. And then they talked about that malaria drug.
They have to do a lot of tests. They have to do a lot of testing.
They have to do a lot of testing. So we're not even close to that point right now. So don't tell us that that it's just around the corner. And then when he says, you know, they said, I think they'd asked him, you know, hey, what about the supplies and everything like that? You know, how do you? Oh, he says, well, from what I'm hearing, supplies are on the ground and everybody's stocked plentiful. And
he's wrong about that.
He's completely wrong about that.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. He's talking and he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You know, we listen to this doctor on there, that Dr. Fauci or whatever. That guy knows what he's talking about. You know, I mean, that guy, you know, that's the guy I trust. You know, we got, you know, and it's funny because they said, you know, hey, it's not really that big of a deal. He's the one that, you know, listen, man, we had governors closing down stuff before this even became a big deal with the president. We had like governors and cities like closing things down, like in Washington and stuff like that. I mean, that's what, I don't know, man. That's the thing.
Like today he was able, like he said that he was gonna enact that what was that emergency thing for New York, for New York, California, and Washington. He probably should have done that maybe a week ago.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But now here's the thing, and you guys know my stance on Trump, not his biggest fan. That being said, you got to think about this too, man. You have to think about like, hey, it's just like 9/11 when Bush was president. Nothing like this had ever happened. This is a crazy thing, man, where they're shutting people, telling people they can't go out of their houses and stuff like that. Italy's on complete lockdown over there. You know? And I mean, that's the thing, man. It's a different thing. From what he said he did today, now I don't know, I didn't read about it or anything like that, so you know, I guess somebody can go fact check if they want. He said something about he gives veterans are going to be able to go to any doctor they want now. It's veterans choice, I think they called it. He signed that bill into effect. I think that's a very good thing, where if they can't get to the VA, they can go to another hospital or a regular doctor, and that's fine, and the government still pays for it. He's done a lot of good things, I think, with this whole thing, but there's a lot of missteps here too. And I think that he just can't get out of the TV character. You know, I think he just can't get out of the TV character mode.
His thin skin is always going to be his downfall.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. The fact that he's, baited into Twitter wars daily, and then, but the other thing is like say the Fox News channel and stuff like that. That's another one where I can't watch and take it seriously because you don't know what's what on there. But MSNBC is the same way.
Yeah.
They're completely the other way, so you don't know what you want. You have to find that news that's like just completely nonpartisan, and it's tough to find. But that's where the research, though. JC said the economy was booming, though. Well, we're currently in a recession right now. I mean, that's the other case is that we're currently in a recession right now.
Technically, to call it a recession, you have to have multiple quarters of loss. We're heading into a recession.
Yeah. Well,
but
what is it? Who announced it who announced it as a recession? Somebody announced this as a recession. One of the big companies or whatever announced it. One of the Wall Street guys.
It's too early to call it a recession, but
yeah,
it's heading towards that because by definition, a recession is multiple quarters of loss, meaning 2 quarters in a row. So we haven't really experienced a full quarter of loss yet.
Yeah.
Now, if this goes on for 3 months, then we're gonna most likely be in a recession. There's no question. There's no question about it. There's no question about it.
Burgess Meredith said, "Look how good the economy was, Eric." That's fine, but this is a very listen, politics and that's a very what have you done for politics is a lot like boxing and what have you done for me lately? You know what I mean? And the economy was good, but. Listen, man, and he's saying that the economy will bounce back fairly quickly. I don't know that that's the case. I hope it's the case, but I don't know because you got to think small businesses. The big casualties here are going to be the small businesses, the mom and pop stores and stuff like that. They're not going to be able to, and you can get all the loans you want. They're not coming out of this one. There's going to be a lot of people that closed it and stuff like that. I'll tell you when I first realized that this was something major was when they canceled that tournament, the NCAAs.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
He did he did enact the Defense Protection Act today for New York, California, and
yeah, for sure. Like I said,
that's another step in the right direction. So
yeah.
Maybe he should have done that maybe, I don't know, a week ago, 5 days ago, who knows?
Yeah. Mello said this could be the worst recession since 1929. I I guess that was when the stock market hit.
I don't think so.
It's possible. It's possible. But the thing is, once
it's unlikely.
If it gets over, again, it's about 58 days. Well, I guess it's lasting about 58 days.
We're really only maybe 2 weeks in.
Right. So this is all to us. It's like, oh my God, but 58 days is a long time. No question about it.
I'm interested to see if where we are at the end of April. If we're worse than we are now at the end of April, then we got problems.
I don't think there'll be any sports until the fall, till like football season.
You don't think? Well,
no.
I think sports will come back in July.
Maybe.
But I'm optimistic.
Because think about it, like baseball's not coming back in July. Maybe they do. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Bayside just had wild boar for dinner. That's awesome. All right, let's go to the phone. 706, Jason.
Oh no.
Man.
Jason, you're live.
Jason, how you been? Jason? How's everything going? Are you safe? Are you on lockdown right now?
Hilarious to hear Trump supporters trying to rationalize that retard. I mean, it's amazing. Beeb is like bending over backwards to rationalize that moron's behavior. It's amazing.
Trump supporters.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Jason.
If anybody, even if like a fucking guy at a fast food restaurant acted like Trump, he'd be fired like in a week or so. Like no manager would pick up like a belligerent moron like that. Like you would have to be you only have to be a Republican voter and that dumb take up with some shit like that. Like
a lot of people like him.
He was the worst president, dude. Like
a lot of people like him, man.
Look at what Bush was such a retard. Now after Bush, they give us this, and every time Democrats have to come in and clean up the mess of these retarded Republicans. Clinton had to clean up fucking
George, the senior Bush's mess. Fucking Obama had to clean up Bush's mess, and now some other Democrat is gonna come in and have to clean up this fucking orange morons mess. Like that's what happens. These morons give us these moronic Republican presidents. Then Democrats to come up there, and then the Republicans sit around and nitpick. They're like, "Oh my God, you're not cleaning up our shit fast enough." They're like, "Obama, you didn't clean up that shit fast enough. Get on your knees and clean up faster." That's what these Republicans like people do. You know, when a Democrat comes in office, I guarantee you. I hope you guys remember that shit. If some Democrat wins, he won't get a leeway like this. If he starts acting like a moron, people will start talking about impeachment right away. They'll be like, "Oh,
can I ask you a question?
This is a disgrace. This is bad, for example, for our family."
Can I ask you a question?
Republicans have to be the biggest hypocrites on the face of this earth. Like, it's disgusting. It's so bad, man. They're gonna destroy our country and all our future just so they can own the libs. In that process, they'll just destroy us all over.
Let me ask you a question.
Moronic people are that vote for Trump.
Let me ask you a question, Jason. Let me ask you a question.
How could you vote for a reality TV star to be in the White House? How could you put a reality TV star?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's fucking moronic.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was in the governor. Arnold Schwarzenegger was a governor.
Do you remember what he did? Do you remember
Ronald Reagan?
Do you remember what he did to California? He left California. Do you remember what he did to California? Do you remember what he did to California? He left California $30 billion in debt, and he came in with a surplus. So, and then people like Beeb talk about lowering the debt. Republicans don't give a shit about lowering the debt. They triple the debt as soon as they come in, and then they preach to Democrats talking about you want to give handouts to the poor. Meanwhile, they're giving trillions of dollars of handouts to the corporations who never pay the money back. And then they want to talk about socialism. Socialism is okay if you want to give money to the Trump corporation. You know, it's okay if you do that. But
I'm not against.
God forbid you give it to
I'm not against socialism as a last resort. I'm not against socialism as a last resort, meaning that
you can't be, because we live in a socialist country. We live in a socialist country. You can't be against. We live in
a. We're both. We're socialist and capitalistic.
No, we're socialist. We're socialist first and foremost. Because
no, we're not. No, we're not.
Corporations get on their knees and beg the government.
So what I'm trying to say is, I don't think socialism should be a first resort. I think it should be a last resort. Meaning, you're going to have people.
It's always the first resort. It's always the first resort.
No, it's not. It's never a first resort. We're a capitalist country.
Look at Boeing. Boeing. You know what Boeing said? Boeing said, "Give us a bailout, or we'll fire all our employees." That's socialism.
Again, that's last resort. If someone can't, I don't think Boeing should get. But here's the thing.
One at a time, guys. One at a time.
Here's the thing. You gotta let me get in. Or I'm gonna just scream over you. If I start raising my voice, I'll fucking you will never be able to hear yourself.
Go ahead.
So now. I'm not against social programs, but I think they should be used as a last resort. Meaning, there are like if somebody can't work, then we have to take care of that person. There's no question about that. But I think people that can work should work, because if everyone was on government assistance, the country would not be able to run. So I'm not against government programs. I'm what you call a moderate. I'm a moderate. I'm an independent, but I'm a moderate. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not against helping people. I'm not. But you can't. There's an old saying. There's an old saying. Listen to me. There's an old saying.
He's even muted.
You can't weaken the rich to strengthen the poor. Okay? Now, it is the government's job to take care of people that can't take care of themselves. That's great. I'm not against that. But you can't use socialism as a first resort. You just can't automatically say we're going to do this without going through the course of action. If someone can work, they should work. There's no question about that. You can't just tell someone they're going to get this and without them even trying. Now, if someone if someone can't work, if they have a disability or they're not able to work, or if there's a single mom out there, she needs assistance. But you can't just apply socialism to everybody. It would not work. All
right, Jason, go ahead.
Do you know, Beeb, that 50% of Walmart's employees are on the social assistance? Did you know that, Beeb? 50% of like 2 million of their employees are on social assistance, like food stamps. Did you know that? Food stamps and SNAP programs or whatnot. Did you know that? 50% of Walmart employees income is subsidized by the American government. Did you know that, Beeb? I just want to ask you real quick. Can you answer that? Did you know that?
Is that 100% true, or is that just something you're saying?
Yeah, you can Google that right now. As I'm going ahead, you can Google that right now. Okay.
All right.
It might be even more than 50.
All right, we'll take it for fact. Go ahead.
We spend like $60 billion a year. We spend like $60 billion a year subsidizing Walmart's employees, and you're talking about we shouldn't be giving assistance. That's because
I'm not saying we should. I didn't say that. I said people who need it. People who it's not those people's fault. It's not those people's fault that they had children and the man left. I don't blame that. I don't blame them for that. I don't blame them for that.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I'm saying it's not those people. The people who are collecting food stamps. The people who are collecting food stamps. The people who are, mute them again, because I don't want to scream.
Yeah.
The people who are collecting food stamps basically are because they're fatherless households, and one person can't support the whole family. I'm not against that. Never said I was against food stamps either.
Parents in white homes. Did you know that? The majority of food stamp recipients are Caucasian with two parents home. You need to do research before lying.
That's not true. That's not true.
What you do.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. That's not true at all.
That is true.
That's not true at all. It's not true at all. I've checked the statistics. I've checked the statistics.
Don't rely on Wikipedia as your source, son.
You didn't check anything.
That's not true.
You didn't check anything.
That's not true.
Jesus Christ.
You know what the problem is? The problem is fatherless. The problem with a lot of people that are on government assistance is the majority of them because they're fatherless households.
Right.
That's the majority.
Or single parents.
Single parents. It's single parents.
That's what you heard on Bill O'Reilly's show.
No, that's what I know. That's what I know. That's called common sense. That's common sense.
Then post your source. Post your source on Twitter.
I work for the government. I know. I work for the government. I know statistics. I work for the government. I work for the government. Mayor Arrigo, Councilman Powers, Mayor Arrigo. I see the statistics. I work in the government. Bro.
Post the source. I'll wait. Post the
source.
Mayor Arrigo, John Powers, Senator Coakley. I know all these people.
You don't know anybody.
All right.
Okay.
Who do you know? What's your source? I named my sources. What's your source? MSNBC?
It's not Bill O'Reilly. I don't use Bill O'Reilly as a source.
Bill O'Reilly's not even on television anymore. What are you talking about?
You use pathological liars as source.
What's your source? What's your source? What's your source? Confirmation bias? 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 What's your source? Mayor Arrigo, Councilor Powers, Councilor Fiore. These are people that I know that I work with every day. I work with government. I work in the government.
Hey, Jason.
I work in the government.
Hey, Jason.
What does that mean?
I work in the government.
Georgia again?
Go ahead.
I work in the government.
You think Trump
So I named sources. He didn't name sources. He didn't name any sources. What's your sources? Give me your sources.
He won Georgia by 50%, which is kind of surprising. He should have won by a lot more. George Bush won by like 80%. So Georgia's turning into a blue state, like slowly. You know, a lot of minorities here.
Do you think Joe Biden's going to beat Trump?
Yeah.
Do you think Joe Biden's going to beat Trump?
I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like Joe Biden. I can't stand him.
I don't like him either. Do you think he's going to beat Trump? Do you think he's going to beat Trump? Yes or no? Do you think he's going to beat Trump? Yes or no?
I don't.
That means no.
I don't know.
That means no.
He's not going to beat Trump. Joe Biden's not going to beat Trump. There's no way. It's not going to happen.
You know what this could be, though? I tell you what. You remember when George Bush? What was Bush Senior? You remember Bush Senior, Beeb?
Yes.
What was that? What was that hurricane or whatever? Remember in New Orleans?
Katrina.
No,
not Katrina. I'm sorry, not Katrina. I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah.
And he, he refused to put feet on the ground and everything like that until it was all, until it was way too late.
Yeah, but I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of the I wasn't a fan of the Bushes. I actually voted for Clinton. I voted for Clinton.
Right. But remember that was like the downfall, though. Hold on, Jason. You remember that was like the downfall because Bush was way ahead. There was no way to beat that guy.
Well, Bush is trying to
little by little missteps happened.
Well, he tried to blame Ross Perot, though. He tried to blame Ross Perot for him losing to Clinton because he said Ross Perot took votes away from him.
Votes or whatever. If I disagree with that.
I disagree. I disagree with that too.
But like I said, man, he
H.W. Bush. Remember?
Yeah.
Hey, Eric. Remember H.W. Bush said he would raise the taxes, and Republicans didn't like that either. I remember that also.
Yeah, no new tax. It was a no new taxes.
He said, no, you know how he lost? You know why he lost? Because he said, read my lips. He said, read my lips, no new taxes. And then he raised taxes.
Yeah. Well, that really came back to haunt him. Yeah, that really came back.
Do you want to know something crazy? Do you want to know something crazy? Do you want to know something crazy? Policy-wise, listen to me. Mute him again. Do you want to know something crazy? Policy-wise, the Bushes were actually more liberal than Clinton. Policy-wise. Because Clinton was more of a moderate. Like George Bush raised taxes. That's the first one did, and the second one did 2 bailouts. He gave us 2 stimulus checks. Their economic policies were more liberal than friggin' Bill Clinton's. Go ahead, let him back in. I didn't like the Bushes anyways.
Clinton raised the tax for millionaires like 4% also. Obama tried, but he couldn't do it either. Obama was he didn't want to fight with the Republicans, so he just passed whatever. But we just pass like a $2 trillion tax cut too like a year ago, and now we're gonna give him another $2 trillion like fucking like all that. I remember when during Obama's 8 years every day on TV, it's to the Republicans. So, oh my God, our country, Obama is selling off the future of our grandkids. We're in so much debt. I don't even hear that anymore. And I blame Pelosi and Schumer. Pelosi and Schumer are so fucking weak. They're nowhere to be found. Like they're nowhere on TV. You see no Democratic leadership presence anywhere.
They're too old. They're too old. You need new people. You need new people, and you need fresh faces in those positions now. You got to get rid of those old people.
Term limits on everybody in the House, everybody in the Senate. There should all be term limits.
I don't like Nancy Pelosi. I don't like Chuck Schumer.
Not be able to have a career thing with this.
I kind of like
after 60 or 60 something should be a wrap.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that Alexandria. I kind of like that Alexandria Ocasio, although I don't think she's that bad.
AOC. I'm not real big on her. I
think she'll get better with experience. I don't think all her policies are bad. I think she should
I don't think so either. But I don't think anybody's policies are all bad.
Paul Ryan was the biggest moron, and people used to worship him.
I didn't like him. I didn't like him either.
And people were like, and dude, people said he was a fucking budget wonk and a social conservative and a fiscal conservative. If you look at bills that Paul Ryan passed, they told like $20 trillion. So
but see, I don't think
the media is corporatist. Media is corporate.
I don't think Trump is a real conservative, though. I don't think Trump is a real conservative. I don't look at Trump as a real Republican. I really don't.
Pretending to be one.
I don't think he's a real Republican. I just don't think he is.
He's just a businessman, dude. He's just a businessman trying to, just do whatever he feels like. He's like,
he's a TV,
going by the wind.
And he's treating the whole thing like it's a TV show.
Back in the day, Trump wanted to run as an independent. He was actually in the Green Party with Jesse Ventura for a while. Yeah, and then he changed parties because he actually wanted to be in the Green Party, but he didn't think he could win.
There you go. All right, Jason, we're going to get going, man.
They said
go ahead.
Rand Paul is positive for coronavirus, but he was swimming in the Congress gym and the fucking pool and shit.
Yeah, that's what I heard. He got tested positive. All right, man.
His neighbor punched him last year. Remember, his neighbor punched him. Last year. I'm glad he did.
Oh, stop!
Oh, come on now. When people punch you, I don't feel happy about it. You get beat up every day on the regular. I don't feel happy about it.
I looked this up, and it's because I've been seeing it in the chat for a little bit now. I looked it up, and it is verified. Harvey Weinstein, that Hollywood director, the guy that's at Rikers with Georgie, contracted coronavirus, tested positive for the virus.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's not a joke. How did he get it? In jail?
Yeah, I guess so. You can only imagine how he got it in jail. I don't know, man. So yeah, man. But Harvey Weinstein was a guy that was convicted of got sentenced 29 years. When he convicted, I don't know if he was convicted of rape or misconduct or something.
Sexual assault.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know that there was actually like rape, but it was
Not
sexual
rape,
assault, whatever.
sexual assault.
But he was the one in Hollywood, that one agent guy or whatever, that I don't know if he was an agent or not, or he owned a big studio. He owned Weinstein Studios, didn't he? Like a big
Something
movie
like
guy
that.
that
Yeah, something like that.
supposedly raped all those girls and stuff like that. That's so sad, man.
Horrible.
Well, hey, he's payback for it now, I don't know. You get it back one way or the other, man. I don't know. Ain't good. Let's see here. I think that's it. Man.
It's a good political show.
There you go. Hey, we always got stuff to talk about. You see, somebody said this is what happens when boxing gets canceled when we're talking about politics.
Talk about something.
Yeah, we got to talk about something, man. So, yeah, let's think about this Wednesday to set it up. Maybe Wednesday we'll come back on.
Yeah, come back on.
Burgess Meredith said, "What evidence of rape, Eric? Are you for real? How about the conviction, son? How about that?"
No, it wasn't.
Enough?
I think it was sexual assault. He went away for.
Yeah,
that's not good either. I mean,
that ain't good either, right?
It's not that much better,
Yeah, I think he'll have a rape case out of prison. I think he may be reporting it after that. But he said, in my opinion, it's false.
You got a Harvey Weinstein fan in the
We got a Weinstein lover here. How could you defend that guy?
Wow. That's a
Burgess,
first.
come on, man. How could you defend that dude?
That's a first.
Of all the people to defend, right?
That's
the guy you're rolling with?
That's a first.
For real? That's the guy.
That is a first. I've never seen
What
that.
evidence? How about all those chicks who came forward? I don't know. How about half of Hollywood that came forward? You
got witnesses too. I mean,
come on, son. Come on. What is he? Gynocentrist. Come on, man. He's got to be trolling. There's no Beeb. Come on, man. You can't tell me there's a person in America aside from maybe
he's got the virus. Yeah, he's got the virus.
Yeah, I told you he does. I told you.
He's 68 years old.
Yeah, that's not good, man.
Oh wow. Let me read this again. So he's a convicted sex offender. Let's see what he went to jail for. Criminal charge. I'm sorry, Eric. Rape.
Yeah, there you go.
Criminal sex act, sex abuse, and sexual misconduct. 23 years. Wow. So I guess he did get convicted of rape.
Yeah, Lisa just texted me. She said 1 count of rape here. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
1 count of third-degree rape, 1 count of criminal assault in the first degree, criminal charge, rape, criminal, sexual abuse, sexual misconduct, penalty 23 years. And let me tell you this.
Yeah.
That's not enough for what he did.
Wow.
It's not enough.
So what's third-degree rape as opposed to first-degree rape?
I don't know, but what I can tell you, okay, so like first degree murder would be when you plan it out. All right. Second degree murder would be if it just happens, like we get in a scuffle and I end up killing you or something like that. I mean, second, maybe that's third degree. I don't know. But he's also facing, Lisa just texted me. She said he's also facing rape charges in California.
Wow.
So as far as the evidence goes, Burgess Meredith, there you go.
So why isn't anyone making documentaries about him? They're making documentaries about R. Kelly. What this guy did is just probably worse than
It just happened. It just happened. I mean, think about it. I mean, it just happened. Why
isn't Oprah Winfrey coming out trying to make movies? She's trying to make movies about Russell Simmons and shit. Why don't you make a movie about him?
Let me tell you why. Because Oprah was the worst. Oprah claimed that she knew it was going. Oprah knew it was going on and didn't say anything.
Wow.
A lot of these people in Hollywood supposedly knew this thing was going on. This was like a normal thing. That casting couch they all talk about is all. This was apparently a normal thing, and everybody really knew about it, but everybody turned a blind eye toward it. You know what I mean? Courtney, what was that? Courtney Love? Is it Courtney Love? I guess it is. That one actress who came out and said, "Here, a word of advice." This was years ago. She said, "Don't go into Harvey Weinstein's office and sit on his couch or something like that." I mean, it was something like that, But yeah, man, like I said, it's one of those things where, a lot of people knew about this. And that's what that honestly may be why you're not seeing a lot of documentaries about it. And for better or for worse, listen, I don't know. He may still have a lot of pull over there. I don't know. I don't know that for a fact.
Yeah.
But he may still have a lot of, I'm sure he's still got some powerful friends over there. You know what I mean? So you start coming out against him, this and that. And, who knows?
Burgess Meredith is defending Don King now. Don King is a convicted murderer, dude.
Yeah.
Went to jail. He went to jail for manslaughter. He's not really an upstanding citizen. He's been sued.
Right.
He's been sued 1,000 times, and he's actually lost most of the cases.
Yeah.
And he's had to pay out. He's had to pay out a lot of money to people that he lost to court cases against. You know, I ain't gonna defend him too. Come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna entertain this discussion anymore.
No, that's crazy.
This discussion is over, man.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
now
no way.
Now you're defending Don King. That's crazy.
I mean, you want to defend somebody. You know what? I tell you what, Beeb, you think about this, you really want to defend like somebody who's innocent, somebody who didn't do it, somebody who was wrongly accused. Let's talk about O.J. Simpson. All right, let's talk about that.
well, here's the thing with O.J. I'm not 100% sure he did it, but I know he was involved in it. I think he had something to do with it. I'm not like, how does one person kill two people like at the same time like that? Like, it just.
Well, they showed it on the video where they did like this cartoon video, not like cartoon, but animation of how they think it all went down, and they think that they kind of met there at the same time. Like he met Ron about the same time, so he knocked Nicole out. Nicole was unconscious before I guess he killed her. And then he was able to handle the guy with no problem. You know what I mean?
But how it's like you would have to think the way that murder went down. It'd have to be a skilled hitman to do that. Is O.J. Simpson a skilled hitman?
I don't think so. Lisa just texted me. She says, "I'm going to throw my computer. You two are the worst defending O.J."
No, what I think happened is I think he hired someone to do it. I don't know.
You know what I have a problem with? You know what I have a problem with? But it's a two-edged thing. As much blood was at that crime scene. How did we only get a couple spots in that Bronco?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But that being said, I was watching that. It was funny because it was kind of fresh in my mind because I was watching that People versus OJ, the one with John Travolta was in it, and stuff like that.
That was hilarious.
And they had a part in there where Marsha Clark is explaining to like this group of people, like I guess they were at a party or something. She was explaining to this group of people, okay, because they said, OJ didn't do it, and she said, okay, well, we have Mark Furman, because they said the LAPD framed him. She says, well, we have Mark Furman here, who went to the crime scene, and found out that this is Ron and Nicole's dead, and then what he did was took blood off of the scene without knowing OJ was the guy, took blood off the scene, went to Rockingham or went to OJ's house, planted the glove, then planted spots in the Bronco, then planted gloves, planted the bloody sock in his room and then on his carpet and when she broke it down like that, it was just like, yeah, I don't, she's right.
They tampered.
She's right.
They tampered. They tampered with evidence, though. They planted evidence and shit. The LAPD.
You know what did him in is Furman. Furman, when he pled the fifth, and he was asking him, and he says, I want to plead the fifth on this. And then they asked him that last question: Did you plant evidence in this case? And he had to plead the fifth because that's how it works.
Yeah, he planted evidence though. But
he could not answer that question though. That's the point.
Yeah.
Once you plead the fifth, you have to plead the fifth out. So he had to answer the question
my whole thing is, if this was such an open and shut case, then why did they have to plant evidence? Why did they make so many mistakes if this was just such an open and shut case? It's almost like they had to tamper with this was such a mishandled case on the prosecution's part, and they just did so many things wrong. If this was what everyone said it was, then it should have been a layup for them.
I tell you what, I think a lot of people were looking at the evidence, but listen, he was found not guilty. Does that mean he didn't do it? No. But did they prove it beyond a reasonable doubt? No.
I don't think they did.
I don't think they did either, and neither did the jury.
I'm going to tell you right now. If I was on that jury at that time, given the evidence that was presented in that case, I would have voted. I'm probably going to get condemned for the rest of my life, but I'm going to say it. Given the circumstances of the evidence presented in that case, knowing that evidence was planted and all that shit, I would have probably voted not guilty, because I would not with 100%. I could not without reason. There's reasonable doubt. There was reasonable doubt presented in that case.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I think that, I think that's the thing. I think that it was just not beyond a reasonable doubt, and that's what you need to convict. Was there a lot of evidence there? Yeah, there was. There was a lot.
I don't know if he did it or not. I can't say I can't say with confidence that I believe he did it. I think he had something to do with it. I strongly suspect that, but I don't think I just have a hard time to believe that he went there and was able to kill two people like that, without us be able to deal with that.
OJ is a big guy, professional football player. That's a big dude, and it's not like Goldman was a big guy at all. I mean, he was supposed to be like a black belt in karate, but I mean that's not going to get him anywhere. Yeah, I mean, he's going to get killed. It wasn't like I don't
know.
But I tell you though, you know what actually turned me too is, so I read some of the book If I Did It. You know how OJ came out with that book, If I Did It. Yeah, I was reading some of that. And the way he talks, they had like a foreword done by the ghostwriter there, and he was saying, it was just odd because like when he said like this is the route I would have took. Because he says, he breaks it down. Like, if I would have done this, this is what I would have done. Boom, boom, boom. And he said he would have had a guy with him or something like that, I think. But he said, this is what I would have done. And he broke it down to the point where he was like, no, I wouldn't have gone down this street. I would have gone down this street because the traffic is lighter that time of night or whatever. And sometimes he said, the ghostwriter said he caught himself having to re-say things. I'm talking like hypothetically, if I was there, that kind of thing. Where like he would talk like that, like he was actually there when it happened, and like the detail that he went into and stuff, I don't know, man. It's just odd. It's definitely odd behavior.
If you were on that jury, what would you have voted? No, guilty
you couldn't convict him. That's the point. You couldn't convict him based on everything that was there. It took them but you know what was crazy? It took them 4 hours to arrive at that decision. 4 hours. To arrive at that decision. Georgie Porgy says that the dude he's talking about, Furman, got caught on there with the N-word and everything like that. Yeah, that's what did him in. That's honestly what did him in. That was
he was what destroyed that case.
Yeah. Because I think Clark and Darden, I think they did a very good job. But man, a lawyer like Johnny Cochran, who just captivates you, who knows how to speak to people and everything.
He was beautiful. Watching him, I remember I would watch that trial just so I could listen to him. Oh, he was like an artist.
Oh, he was.
He was probably it was beautiful listening to that guy.
He was incredible, man.
He was hilarious.
Yeah, like I said, man, that guy is incredible. And, but Kardashian never talked to him again after the trial. He stopped talking to him after that trial, and that was his best friend. Stopped talking to him.
Who, OJ, you mean?
Yeah. And, that to me said a lot, because Kardashian was like his guy. That was his go-to. Him and Al Cowlings, I think it was AC or Al Cowlings. Yeah, those two were the go-to. He always went back to those guys.
How much of a psychopath would this guy have to be to just go through life it's like he's always happy. He's like playing golf. He's like he's loving life. It's like,
well, is he a psychopath or is he a narcissist? He's definitely a narcissist.
Oh, without question.
Without question. I think he's definitely a narcissist.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's a psychopath or not. Maybe the two go hand in hand. I don't know.
It's crazy. All his kids love him. Like they're all 100% with him on this. Like you would think some kids would hate him because they would think you killed my mother, but they all believe all his kids with 100% certainty believe him.
But you think about it, he's been treated differently his entire life. He's been different his entire life, because he could play football. And he was the best at it, and I mean, he's in the NFL. He's a big time star. He's, he's got the charisma. He's got the charm. They put him on commercials, the movies, and everything like that.
Yeah.
This guy, and that's what Chris Darden was trying to say. At least in the show, they were saying that he says he doesn't represent Black America. He's not Black. I mean, he's a black, he's black in color, but he doesn't represent that. He doesn't represent Black America.
No.
He's not, because he's not. He completely left those guys. He's hanging out in Bel Air with Kardashian and all that. You know what I mean? Come on, man.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That shit is crazy.
All right, guys. Well, listen, man. So let's plan on being back here Wednesday at some point Wednesday, and we'll go down the rules for the tournament, for the heavyweight tournament. So you guys may not have boxing on TV, but you'll definitely have it here. We're gonna break it down for you, and then we'll come back Monday, and then Wednesday we'll have some of the tournament plans. So there you go. We'll have some of the results of the tournament. So right now, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1. Find our YouTube channel at Ringside Reporter Live, and you can find me at Ringside73 on Twitter. And we will see you guys next week.